Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Brooke Hash, and all new here at noon, the conversation between LMPD's chief and her command staff that ultimately resulted in her being put on administrative leave. Now, the mayor broke the news during that 5 o'clock hour Wednesday evening, calling into question the way Chief Jacqueline Gwynn Villarreal handled an officer's accusations of sexual harassment against another officer. Today, newly released audio revealing exactly what was said in that moment when the chief asked her majors if they had any problems working with others in the department. Take a listen.
Is there anybody within this command staff and executive staff you can't work with?
Ma'am, I cannot work with Major Kurger. He has sexually harassed me and attacked me, and I cannot work with him.
Now, that is Major Shannon Lauder making that accusation about fellow Major Brian Kurger back on May 22nd. About 20 seconds of silence followed before the chief continues asking each of her majors to respond to the same question, and then proceeds with promotions, including Major Kurger to the executive level, telling Major Lauder she heard her concerns and would talk to her later. LMPD telling us today he has not been officially promoted. Well, less than an hour ago, the attorney who represents Shannon Lauder, the officer who alleged the sexual harassment, spoke to us about these allegations and how she feels the chief should have handled the news. Ian Hardwitz joining us from outside Metro Hall. Ian, are they telling you that this was the first time these allegations were brought up, or had she made formal complaints before this meeting?
Brooke, Major Lauder's lawyer, Jared Smith, did not give us that answer exactly today, but he did tell us that Lauder hired him before she took that recording that we just heard. Smith also said Lauder alleges the sexual harassment spanned over 4 years. The allegations come after the DOJ found LMPD did not properly investigate sexual harassment complaints within the department. Lauder's lawyer echoed those findings and said the major is seeking change within the department. Here he is talking about the chief's response to Lauder's accusations in the recording.
I would like to have seen her take that 60 seconds pause and think about Shannon. Think about the position that her officer is in right now, what this must feel like in a room of her peers and in a room where the person that she alleged sexually harassed her was also present, and addressed her from that perspective, which I think would have allowed her to approach Shannon or respond to Shannon in a way that was much more human.
The attorney there also said Major Lauder is taking some time away from department meetings now. He also mentioned the possibility of a future lawsuit and said LMPD is cooperating with their investigation. We've reached out to LMPD and the Fraternal Order of Police trying to get a hold of the accused Major, Brian Kurger. But LMPD told us he was unavailable, and we still have not heard from the FOP after emailing them about 2 hours ago. For now, I'm live in downtown Louisville. Ian Hardwitz, WHAS 11, on your side.
Ian, thank you for that report. Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey is now acting chief. He's been with LMPD for 18 years and leads the department's new Accountability and Improvement Bureau. Humphrey is also the lead officer working with the U.S. Department of Justice as it negotiates a consent decree with the city. Deputy Chief Humphrey spoke about his commitment to move the department forward during that announcement yesterday, and you can watch his full response on the WHAS 11 YouTube page. The judge in the Crystal Rogers case is considering whether to drop the charges for one of the 3 suspects accused in her murder. Steve Lawson was in court this morning, his defense saying everything he said in police interviews was under a promise of immunity. Our Isaiah Kim Martinez and Philip Merle are in Bardstown right now after having heard both sides of the argument.
Well, Brooke, we talked about some of the interrogation video that we were going to be shown here today, and we were short snippets of Steve Lawson's interactions with authorities, including Kentucky State Police. We got a handful of them. Some of the clips were videos from inside jail with Lawson. Others were simply audio recorded over a phone call. Now, here's some of what we were shown inside the Nelson County courtroom here today. You see Lawson sitting in that video being asked what he knows about Crystal Rogers' disappearance. Lawson, of course, is charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. He was in the Nelson courtroom again today. He looked flustered at times, squinting and even taking off his glasses for a period. Now, Lawson's attorney, Ted Lavitt, has asked for the charges against his client to be dropped altogether because he, according to Lavitt, was promised immunity for his testimony. But today, Special Prosecutor Shane Young said Lawson broke those conditions of the agreement.
It was immunity as long as you did not hurt her or participate in the murder. But to get that, he had to be 100% truthful with no omissions. We do have specific examples where he is telling the complete opposite of what he had said in a previous interview.
Ted, at one point you said your client has told the entire truth. At another time you said he was trying to tell the truth. I mean, which is it?
Well, he's trying to give them what they wanted. And they would tell him, look, you're messing up. You're not telling us. You're not giving us this. Well, what do you want me to do?
You believe the prosecution threw him off?
Well, of course. And so we go out in the hall, we talk about it, we learned what they wanted, we'd go back in, we try to tell the truth.
And Lavitt went on to say they kept putting pressure on a, quote, uneducated person to come up with what they wanted. Now, a major part to this agreement, Brooke, is that we're told, both attorneys agree on this, that all of this was agreed upon orally. This was a verbal agreement. Nothing is written, so that, of course, will add to the nature of this decision. The judge says that he will take some time with this and get out a decision on whether to dismiss these charges as quickly as possible. But again, Lawson's attorney says that his client's testimony played a large role in the charges that ultimately were brought against both Brooks Houck as well as Steve Lawson's son, Joey Lawson. Brooke.
Isaiah, thank you. We'll have continuing coverage on all of these stories later today, starting at WHAS 11 News at 4. Kentucky State Police have arrested a second set of grandparents in the case of missing 8-month-old Maya Rudd. Talitha and David Tucker of Owensboro are the parents of Maya's mother, Tesla, who was arrested last week. Both are now in the Daviess County Detention Center. That baby, while reported missing out of Hancock County last Thursday, has not been seen by their family since April. Earlier this week, police used cadaver dogs around a local cemetery, but came up empty. If you have any information on where this little girl might be, you are urged to call KSP, that post 16 number on your screen, with any information, 270-826-3312. Officials from TARC meet today to discuss next year's budget. Faced with looming layoffs and service reductions, the Transit Authority says it needs to make those cuts to meet expected expenses by mid-2026. It would impact dozens of routes throughout the city, which could see reductions as early as June 30th. That means fewer routes will be available to riders. There would also be fewer buses running as TARC plans to shift to the Saturday level service. The changes will not affect its 4 busiest routes, which are 4th Street, Dixie Rapid, Broadway, and Preston Highway. Without cuts, TARC says the budget gap would be as much as $30 million by 2026. The proposed budget still needs to be approved by Metro Council. TARC's budget committee meets at 4:30 this afternoon. 6 people, including a juvenile, are facing charges in connection to a recent wave of car thefts. Wednesday, LMPD arrested DeMontre Ford, Krishan Lamberth, Desmond Carney, Deontay Bass, Truth Martin, and a minor not pictured. They're charged with receiving stolen property, fleeing police, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and reckless driving. Police recovered the stolen cars and firearms in that bust. They add that you can help prevent crimes like this by locking your vehicles and not leaving anything valuable inside them. And take a look at this. Brookland Cemetery in Pioneer Village is offering $1,000 worth of reward to catch the vandals who desecrated its grounds. You can see in the video tire marks all across the grass. Cemetery staff said it happened the night of June 5th, and we're told vandals got in through an old entrance directly off the main road. So if you have information on who might have done this, contact the Pioneer Village Police Department. That number there at the bottom of your screen. The U.S. Supreme Court just ruled in favor of maintaining abortion pill access as it relates to mifepristone. The unanimous opinion was authored by Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Now, the conservative majority voted to overrule Roe v. Wade back in 2022. And the court's ruling means mifepristone will remain available under pre-existing conditions, which include allowing women to receive that medication by mail without any in-person requirement. Mifepristone is the first pill taken in a 2-drug regimen for a medical abortion, which is the most common method in the country. When we